Welcome back to another episode of Comes of Crazy. Oh, we're gonna use this. This is it.
You gotta
We
restart
just
it though. You gotta say it
no.
again.
Why?
I cut it. I
Why?
started in the
Why
middle.
did you stop it? Start it right now. Record now.
We're
Go.
recording.
Okay. Welcome back to another. Welcome back to another episode of Comes of Crazy with Rachel and Lee. We just went through so much to get here for you guys. There you go, and there it is. Yeah, we were about to record, but we had a lot of issues happen right beforehand, and we both were just not in good moods. So we decided, we're like, you know what, is it okay to drink? So we're going to turn this episode into a nightcap episode.
Yes.
So cheers, and cheers to 600 people following our Facebook page.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And yeah, that's wild. It's awesome.
It seriously
and more
is
people,
wild.
It is. And yeah, that $5 goes a long way. Let me tell you what.
Right? I think that's more people than I've known in my lifetime. So it's pretty cool.
I only know like 7 in general. So that's including my son and you. So so today we're gonna be talking about probably a little more serious issue. Borderline personality disorder. That's something that Lee struggles with, and I think that she wants to talk a little bit about that, so I'll let you do that.
Yeah, so I just found it interesting. Like I said, I was diagnosed a long time ago with an array of disorders, I guess you could call them. And I never really looked into them until the recent years, because it was just like, okay, these are things. And I always chalked everything up to being bipolar because it's just so, you know what I mean, all over the place. So I figured we would kind of touch base on what it actually is and how it can mimic different aspects of being bipolar. But a lot of the things that I severely struggle with is part of the borderline personality disorder. And ironically, so, doing some research into it, I came across some interesting things. But first, what is it? So it's basically an illness marked by ongoing patterns of varying moods, self-image, and behavior. So it can be anything from impulsive actions and problems in relationships, all the way to, cutting and just a warped self-image of how you view yourself, which can trigger just a lot of different things within yourself. So it can make you go from happy to angry, and it is a strong change. It's a strong switch. So I was telling Rachel the other day, I was just scrolling through online and something popped up, and I instantly was like, oh my God, is this person maybe doing this? And it was something that I could not stop thinking about, to the point that it actually made me outwardly angry. And I was like pissed off. And of course, it's not something, like, I know it's not a rational thing to bring up. So it just has to fester till it dies down. Oh, hey, cucumber. There he is. Oh, he's so cute.
Continue.
So I just wanted to kind of talk about that a bit, because for me personally, like I said, I just chalked everything up to being bipolar, and because everything is so flippity floppity. But some of the points to it actually hit home a little bit, like more recently, because it just explains so much of why I think the way I think. And, I've said a lot of times, like, actually a few weeks ago, I was talking to a friend, and she was like, well, do you feel like that person, like, loved you? And my honest response was, I don't know what it actually feels like. Like, I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. You know what I mean? So, like, people have said, like, you know, all my life, like, oh, you know, I love you, you're loved, that type of thing. I don't know if that's supposed to be something you feel. So I honestly, my response to it was, I don't know, what does that feel like? And she just kind of looked at me for a second, and it was like, what? And that's honestly something that is part of the borderline personality. I just can't say that word anymore tonight.
That's okay.
BPD.
BPD.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where we're at. So it was just kind of interesting to me to be able to categorize it to, oh, okay, that's that disorder that causes this.
That's why I'm like this, not because of that one.
Yeah. And it so another part to it is, we touched on this, I think, where I just always wait for someone to leave. And it's, thanks a lot, cucumber. Yeah. I'm always one step ahead in case this happens, and it's always that I expect people to leave. And that's something that actually stems from childhood, like different types of abandonment, but it plays a huge role in my day-to-day, every relationship I've had, which is also tied into BPD. So I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts and kind of chat about it, because it was, even for me, having it for the past, I want to say I was diagnosed like 15 years ago at least. It wasn't something that they ever like really went through with me. It was just from doctor to doctor, you have this, 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 and this. And then this recent time, it was like, oh, and you have ADHD. I'm like, all right, well, that's a new one. But no one ever actually goes through what each diagnosis means. You know what I mean?
Yep, I sure do. I'm looking, actually. There we are.
Oh, Rachel.
I know. Well, you know, we're showing who we really are, and I'm a fucking mess. Welcome to my world. It's funny because, well, it's not funny, but
it can be.
Earlier,
I mean, you know, depending on the mood.
You have to make the best of it. I mean, that's what it is, because otherwise, what are you gonna do? Cry? Yes.
Right.
So,
yes.
When you were just saying that whole thing about love, that really made me think, because the past like few months, actually, I've been really thinking like, okay, if every single relationship that I've had with a man, like whether that's my dad, my boss, intimate relationships, has been toxic, but the word love has been said, like, that's not love. Like, you didn't love me because you did those things. You know what I mean? Because love involves like respect and this and that, and you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how would do I really know what love is? Like, if I felt it, was it my brain thinking that that's what it is? Because in reality, how can you say that you love someone who treats you like this? What does that say about yourself?
Right.
Like, okay, so I always thought this was funny. The definition of love is an intense feeling of deep affection, which I think is hilarious, because, you know, we're all love this, love that. And it's like, I feel that way about pizza. So like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, people just throw the word around, but really, like, I think, you know, when you're in an intimate relationship, when you say in love, then there's like a different, you know, culturally, it's a different thing. Yeah. But it's all the same. It's like, if I've never been in a healthy anything like that, how can I surely say like, I love you? If I mean, besides your kids, because that's just a different kind of love, but outside of that box, you know, I can't like confidently be like, oh, I know what love is, or I know what love feels like. I know what I thought it felt like, but I know that under the conditions, that's not love. So
yeah. And even that, like, even in, you know, a relationship, even if it was good or is good, I still have no idea if it's supposed to feel a certain way. Like, I know that I can love, have love, do love.
Right.
But because I don't know what it's supposed to feel like in return, I don't know if my reality of love is reality, or like my idea of it. You know what I mean?
Funny that you say that, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Just okay. Great. Uh, cheers. I love you.
Cheers, mate. What?
See, I love you. I can say it.
Oh yeah, this is different. This is a whole different type of level.
All right. Well, now that I laughed, I forgot what I was gonna say. So continue.
You had something to say about not knowing if love is love, if you've never
Oh,
felt
yes.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reality, this and that.
Yeah.
Okay. I just explained to someone like last week or the week before on how I don't know like what love is in an intimate way because, they've all been tainted in some way and, badly, not just like, oh, we had a bad relationship. No, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm like this hopeless romantic and, the only and I've never seen a healthy relationship in person. Have you? I haven't. So the only thing that I go off of is just like movies and stuff. Like I have like a fairy tale reality about love. And I still do. Like I love love.
Right.
You know what I mean? But not
the idea
enough
of it.
The idea.
Yeah.
But what comes with it, I've never experienced. I've never experienced like unconditional, I'm here for you, let me help you with, whatever's going on, even though this is just something that's been coming to light over the past couple years. Even before that, I just never knew because it was always so infested with toxic things.
Yes, I like that word, infested.
It was just an infestation of toxicity.
Of our city. All right. So System of a Down. Yeah.
Yes.
So the
Jimmy used to play the drum. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
This person used to play the drums and wake us up every morning with that song. With the drums every morning. I loved it. I'd be like, yo, can you play the riff, please? And he would play it. It was great. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great way to wake up to go to high school. Having a real drum set. Yeah, right.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, motherfucker.
Exactly.
So, let's bring it back.
Well, I was reading about it and I'm like, well, I have every single one on the list, and it's like hard when you cross with other disorders. So
right. And like I said, I just chalked it all up to bipolar. I think also because there's such a stigma around being bipolar. I always thought it was like, oh, you're a crazy one minute and you're, jumping off a bridge the next minute. There are different levels to being bipolar.
Okay.
And not all the things that I feel are due to that. And I remember getting so excited, not excited is the wrong word, but when I found out I was pregnant with my second son, they found out I had a thyroid issue. And so right after having him, I had to have my neck slit open and they took parts out and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I got excited because they said, oh, having an issue with your thyroid can sometimes mimic a diagnosis for bipolar. And I was like, oh my God. And then it was like, no, just kidding. You're bipolar still. So yeah, that was a letdown. But so in researching this, how I started researching it is ironic, but the number one trigger for BPD is being in relationship, because it brings out all the self-image hate and the distorted self-image, sense of self. And I thought that was really interesting because I have said for many years, I've said to people that I've been in relationships with and in a relationship with, that it's easier when I'm alone because I don't have those things that trigger me. Basically, like, there's no self-esteem on any given day. But when I'm not in a relationship, it's not tested. I don't care. You know what I mean? But when you're with someone
Good point.
and every day getting up and thinking, do they still like me? Do they still want to be with me? Are they attracted to me? Are they physically type of attracted to me? Or, you know, oh, if they're at work, what if they see someone like way better than me? Because that's gonna happen. You know, are they gonna want them? And just, this is
What kind of
every
meds are
single
we supposed to
day.
be taking? I know.
There's no med for
I
it. It's relationships triggering. I'm like,
that's and yeah, my self-esteem has gone up 1,000% since I've been single.
mm,
And not like, single, but I mess with someone, or, I have a friend, but no, I mean like single.
yeah,
Like my self-esteem is shot up because you think that every single day, like they're going to break up with me because they're going to find the love of their life today.
yeah. And it's absolutely exhausting to live with, but it's exhausting for the person that you're in a relationship with. I'm certain of that, because some things that just, I think everyone for the most part has a touch of, the fear of whoever they're with finding, leaving them for someone else.
Yeah.
And I think only one time this actually happened to me when I didn't think it would. So now, like, I'm forever on guard.
Gates open.
Yeah, but it's just, it is exhausting to have to live that way. And there are like certain things that I have to do to try and avoid having those triggers. So, we talked about for a long time, I didn't look. I shouldn't look. I don't want to look, because you're looking and my looking, or someone else is looking and our looking, is totally different. Mine can just send me reeling, and it's not that it's not valid when there are certain things, but the point is, normal people don't do that. Like, you may look
don't.
if you're curious, like if you have a suspicion, but I mean, I've had suspicions, but I also know, like, I only had suspicions because I drummed up some magnificent story in my head, and it was like, oh, all right, now we're gonna go with that. And
I can make up the best.
Dude, I'm like, why do you even get to this point? Like, why do you do this to yourself? But
how did you get here?
Yeah, I can't. There's no stopping it.
And to me, it I don't know if you can attest to this. I've seen other people write stuff like this, so I know I'm not the only one when I like sound like a maniac for saying this, but it works the same way. Like when, you're single and you walk by somebody, and in an instant you can just like completely imagine them like walking up to you, planning out your whole future. You already have like, 3 kids, they're graduated, and you're on the beach somewhere like celebrating your little, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it can work that way too.
Yeah.
Because I can drum up scenarios like that, but in a different manner that's gonna hurt me, because it's like,
right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
No, it's the worst. It's absolutely
I can see why. It's just, yeah. When I was reading the list, like you said, like they diagnosed me with PTSD, and all that can mimic bipolar and BPD. So you don't know what's going on. You're like, am I really this way? Or is it that sometimes I feel like PTSD is really just saying, okay, like you are bipolar or have like BPD, and, PTSD is just like a way of saying like shit has happened and now you have these things and it's never going to go away.
Right.
It's more like a stamp for me. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like, is it really ever going to go away? Like, I've done therapy so much, and it's like
PTSD
triggers happen
forever. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, and they say, you're going to find your coping skills and that type of thing. But and trust me, I have some, but not for this. And I don't know what. changes in the chemicals in my brain where for a while I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I bring this to the table. Like, I'm a nice freaking person. Sometimes I'm funny. I can cook okay. You know, I try to like drum up my list of reasons that someone would choose me. And then, you know, in one
But you don't
day,
need to do that.
but it's tell me how to stop, girl. Like,
Call
it's
me every day
wild.
because I'll call. And I just told Brittany today, I was like, yo, my cousin said that I was hilarious and that like she loved me, or something that you texted me and she was next to me. I was like, she's just like the coolest person. So for her to say that, so you just call me whenever you get that need, because I just think you are amazing. So
yeah, you got to tell me and not do those
doesn't.
things when I'm about to.
Right. So you just text me, be like, hey, I'm about to think that I'm shitty. You are so not shitty. That's how I apologize to people. Sorry, I'm shitty.
It's just whooped because I'll do so good for so long, and then like what triggers the change? But then I'm like, all right, well maybe that's the bipolar side, because I was doing good in this area, but something changed with the chemicals in this area
Side.
and it intercepted and like fucked my shit up. So then it was like a spiral for like a whole week, and now I'm just like, all right, here we go again. Let's try to stay on the path this time, not jerk into the trees. Whatever. I'm a really good driver too. That's what I also bring to the table.
Do that sound effect one more time.
Game on. No! Game off.
What was that sound effect, Lee? I need to do it again. I cannot.
Me driving into the trees?
I know what it was.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh shit. I don't know now. What the fuck? How could I possibly remember? So if you want to backtrack to what you were saying before.
Yeah. So basically there's no there's just no fully taming it. Is you know what I mean? Like they intersect, they cross one time, you know, one side's doing well and the other side's like, oh, hold up, and it like just nothing matches up. There's no it's like all the time. It's infuriating.
That's what I bet. This is what I'm gonna do from now on, so I don't cut you off. So a certain person doesn't think that I cut you off. You know who you are.
Oh, that's great. I'm gonna make sure he listens to this one.
Oh, see, I'm talking about somebody else, but yes, him too.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Oh,
we got a lot of fans.
You can't see the air quotes, but they're there heavily. So you were saying, hold on, that you know, like, well, how do I stop these thoughts? So on a serious note, redirecting your thoughts, because you know how I feel about, well, I used to have this like really strong thing for like The Secret. Have you ever read that?
Mm-mm.
No, like the law of attraction type of thing. No. Really?
Yeah.
Lee,
I shit you not. Is this the part I'm missing in life? Is gonna like explain the things to me? Oh, all right.
Like, it's basically like vision board shit. You know about vision boards?
Like where you write the thing and all the things?
Not conspiracy theory boards.
Oh, then no.
Like where you make like a board of like things that you want or that you could want for yourself in the future, stuff like that. Like Jim Carrey told the story one time about how he wrote himself a check, and then 3 years later he ended up making that amount of money that he wrote the check to, that he kept in his wallet.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Right. I don't know anything about it though.
All right. Well, I know, because I feel like you might think it's like like hippy dippy shit or whatever. I don't know, frou stuff, but it's like,
Frou-frou.
it's all about positivity.
I've never used that word in my life.
I didn't say you did. I do.
Now I'm into the hippy dippy shit.
Me too. Right. Okay. So it's basically like the law of attraction, like think positive and positive things will happen. But once you get like past that and you really start looking more into like the quantum mechanics part of it, you can just look up videos like how it is, like I was telling you about the rice. If you talk good to yourself, like you will feel better, and that's like scientifically proven. Hey man.
It's like meow. He's so cute.
And redirecting thoughts, but start off with The Secret. And I read that like watched it right after AJ was born. You can watch it on Netflix, I think, if it's still on there, or you can read the book. And it's just about like making vision boards and just like envisioning what you want for yourself. Like, and that includes like how you want to think and like trying to retrain your brain. So basically when you're having these thoughts of grandeur, if you will, and you want to stop them, you just like redirect. Realize, because you recognize that you're doing it.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, shit, it's happening.
It steamrolls when it gets to that point, though.
Exactly. And you see it steamrolling, like you can feel it. Stop it and literally think about anything else. Butterflies, your favorite day, me, my cat, anything to redirect. Because if you can start redirecting, those thoughts won't last as long and they won't steamroll out of control. And yes, this has worked.
I was going to say, have you done this?
Yes. Way back when. Like when I just had anxiety.
Okay. I was going to say, what was the scenario? Like, if you could share.
Okay, so a scenario. You can like a personal one, shoot. Okay. I was dating somebody way back when, years ago, and they were at work and they didn't respond, right? But it said that they were online. So I assumed that
right
they
there.
were right. Okay, about to come to your job, bro. You're like, oh, so you can't answer you can't answer me, but you can be on here answering other bitches, right? See what I'm saying? And it turns out he was like, you do it. Like, look on my phone, like log off of your, whatever app we were using. He's like, log off of it. Look on my phone and it'll still show that you're active. Like, I was not active, blah, blah, blah. That's how it ended. But prior to, I was like, you're overthinking. Maybe you had to answer somebody that asked them like a more important question than, hey, I miss you, which I find impossible to be more important, but whatever. But I would be like, he's at work. Like, just relax. Like, you know what he's doing. If you want to know that bad, go be a psychopath and drive up there. You know what I mean?
Challenge
so
accepted.
It's either right. You don't know how many times. I'm not even gonna finish the sentence. Oh my god.
See, but when you say that to yourself, like if I said that to myself, it'd be like, well, what are you just sitting here for then? Go do it. Go be a psychopath.
No, that's not. That's
cool.
not the
Ride
point.
shotgun,
Right. I was gonna say, you don't know how many times I've ridden in a trunk. Anyway.
Why? Oh my god.
It's gonna sound like it's gonna sound like dead air because nobody was breathing.
It's all good.
Oh, this would be great.
Why have you been in trunks? Our viewers are dying to know.
Oh my god. Well, I won't say her name, but if she watches, she'll know. We're still very close friends, and we were crazy when we were younger. And when we wanted to like stalk the other either way, it just just don't do
God.
because I didn't want someone to see me.
Yeah.
So I hid in the trunk. And then we were driving on 192, which anybody listening locally over here, that's like the main highway just all through Kissimmee. I didn't have time to like get out of the car and go in, so I was in the trunk and like I opened it in traffic while people were behind me to be like funny, and it just wasn't funny.
Oh, there's so many good stories. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. All right, guys, I was 17 years old. Like, all right. Well, that's who the person is. She knows. It was 17, I believe. I want to ask her, so if she's listening, maybe I'll text her. But yeah, we've done that a few times actually.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
We weren't playing. Like if we wanted to know something, I said something to you the other day about being like a 007 agent.
Yeah.
Like if I want to know something, I'm gonna find out. And if anybody that's close to me wants to know something, I'm gonna find out.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, so, but it's not like in a creepy way. I want to know. They want to know. Can we know answers?
Yeah.
What was the reason? I need answers. Again, that I'm sure has to do with some sort of disorder.
Yeah. Maybe we can reel it back before in the trunk comment. You were gonna tell us about a time where you had to use that positive thinking in a scenario.
Oh, well, and that's what I did when my boyfriend, this is years later, but still years ago. And I was like starting to make up the scenario, like he's talking to another girl online that's piquing his interest more than me, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, no, he's not. Like, shut the fuck up and relax. Like trying to tell myself, like, you could think about anything else. And like I did. I was like, think about what you need to do later. Like, don't let somebody else be what controls your thoughts in the first place, good or bad, really. Right. You know what I mean? You don't want to make decisions when you're overly happy, because that'll sometimes screw you.
Yeah, get you a few domains.
You know? No, I meant relationships, but I have like 3. So yeah. Right, yeah, right. It's like, so, you know, for people who go through like highs and lows as far as like mania and like super depression, you know, you really gotta think about the state of mind you're in. Like, yeah. I don't know what normalcy feels like, if that's even a thing. I know there's a spectrum of normalcy before you start hitting disorders, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The closest I ever felt to normal was on meds, but then they turned against me, and I was like, whoa, this is completely opposite of what you were doing 2 months ago.
It sent its
I'm just going to go back to how I was, right? There's always a representative. Fuck.
Full circle.
We'll do that. Full circle. We'll do that another day. Representatives. But yeah, so that's how you stop. You just say, like, listen, like, I have other things to think about. Think about those things. Like, why am I going to stress myself out while this person isn't even double thinking or questioning, especially men. Right. Sorry, no offense, but they're just so like blase. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, they're like stewing for days, and they're just like thinking about motorcycles and titties. Like, I mean, whatever. Like,
I think that's the other part that probably fuels the fire so much worse is, you know, in those moments where you're like, oh, and he's doing this or she's doing that and blah, blah, blah. And then they just text and you're like, oh, you're going to text me like everything's cool, right?
Right.
It's like they have no idea.
They have no idea that you're mad.
No.
Like, oh, you fell asleep the next morning.
Oh, okay.
Hey, babe. What's up, fam?
It's like, yeah, I miss you. Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
It's like,
yeah, anyway, so what are you doing?
Yeah. And it's funny, I think too, like after when you're with someone for so long, it's like, you know that they've caught on to this already, but
Yeah.
they still don't feed in, which is it's a good, but it can also be
Right.
a bad, because it's like, just throw me a freaking bone here, like tell me, I'm pretty, whatever,
Right.
like
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Ask you. Like, you've been in a relationship a long time. I have not. So, question, because this used to happen. If you get like random messages of niceness, that used to trigger me to think something alternative.
yeah,
Like, what are you doing that's why you're sending me that? Why did you buy me something?
yeah. I already have it in my
Um,
head what happens when I get those messages. I already, yeah. So,
and
um, it's
that's so. Does it affect you, or like, do you
it.
accept it normally?
I accept it outwardly, like I am
Right.
appreciative of it,
Like, thank you.
but it is always there. Like, did he just like flirt with someone and now he feels bad? Or did he, you know what I mean? Like, it's always those things, but in those
See,
instances,
yeah,
I don't feed into that. I don't think I do anyway, in a passive aggressive way. I don't think I do.
I go so far past that.
I'm pretty good about it, I think.
I used to. I got better in different, like as I got older, I got better. But things I used to think,
Yeah.
and yeah, my last relationship, even though it was a super unhealthy one, like I learned a lot from it,
Yeah.
and in that I learned how to become better in the way I respond to things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what you do is what you do, and that has nothing to do with me, but how I react to what you're doing is what's going to make me feel better.
Yeah. It's very true.
It is true.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. There's no controlling any portion of it. You do live with it forever. And it's just I think it's almost nice to know that some of the weirdest issues that I have, is that a cat ear? Did I just see a cat ear? I'm like, wait, who? Shh. Kitty.
We both love cats. This is
Ah,
Cucumber. Pickles doesn't really come around, but he's around. But she loves Cucumber because she can't. Cats.
oh, did you? Just trying to touch you. Stop, Mom. um,
Super captain of lizard catchers, dead, half eaten.
ah, bro, that's disgusting. He's still wicked cute
So,
though.
I know to reel it back, but to reel it back and forward, question. So
Yeah.
if I gave us, apologize, he gets overwhelmed with my love and leaves. That sounds familiar. No, I'm just kidding. It's more like the other way around. Anyway, if I did like a challenge for you and for me for 30 days, would you do it? And it would be a challenge to see if you can change your thought process.
yes.
Or if you're at least better about it.
Yeah, let's give it a whirl. You got to do it too, and we have to be honest and talk about it in our podcasts.
Absolutely. So,
Weekly updates.
Okay. Exactly. That's exactly what we're going to do. All right, cool. So I am
going to tell you right now, I'm probably going to fail this first run, but I'm going to try not to, because positive. Well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be like a positivity challenge, or we'll think of a clever name. Or if you guys have a name, let us know what you think it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and then, yes.
All right. Well, drum it up, and then we'll announce
it. Drum it up. For whoever else wants to participate.
There you go. Put it out there and roll with it.
Just because with any disorder, BPD, bipolar, depression, anxiety, PTSD, and everything else in between, because there's just so many, positive thinking and other things, which will be part of the challenge, will take you a long way. So they say. I've never been able to stick to a challenge, which I blame on my ADHD.
See how it just swoops in, you know?
Right, but we're going to do this because we're holding ourselves accountable and we have to be honest. So when we're human, we'll mess up, but we'll see what the challenge is and see if anybody else wants to do it, because it'll help anybody, even people who are normal, who just feel like, they just want to better themselves, who consider themselves normal. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It would be a challenge for everybody and see who, there's no winner because we're all winners here.
Oh, all right. I thought that was going a different way. That's all right. There's no winners because we're all losers here. And that's why we get along so great.
The fuck? I need you to read The Secret.
This is us. This is it.
It is. Like, black, pink, even though my soul's black. Anyway.
My soul is pink because I'm the other white meat.
We are perfect in every way. Full circle.
Oh, shnikey.
Serenity now.
Insanity later.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, I think this was a pretty interesting chat. We got to learn about your trunk rides, which I feel like there's so many more that we just need to know.
Oh, there's so many. I'm going to talk to Bao. That's her nickname. And I'm going to, when I tell you that we have some like wild stories, there's some wild stories. Most of them legal. So I'll double check. I'm just kidding.
Got to check the laws in Mexico.
I swear to God, what's the statute on that?
Yeah. Oh, that was good
kidding.
Shit.
But for everybody that's listening, we are waiting for Amazon to approve us, but we are on Spotify, Podbean, Apple Music, and YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have everything just because we just want feedback and we want everybody to be able to share this experience that we're sharing right now, which it's a pain in the ass sometimes, but I just love it.
It is nice doing it like once we're going.
Yeah.
But damn. For example, we were supposed to record this morning. I was taking the kids to the lake, and it was like, all right, so we're gonna start at this time, and just technical shit right off the bat. And then it was like,
we even started out getting ready really late.
I know.
We? You're like, all right, 9:00, we'll start getting ready together. It was like 9:40. You're like hopping in the shower. I'm like, okay.
It's procrastination at its best.
ADHD.
It's because honestly though, usually it's because I'm too busy writing in my story. It's like I've thought shit up. But today it was because I was making the lunches for the children because we were going to the lake. So that was valid. And then, it was like 10:50 and shit was still wrong. So I was like, all right, we'll do it tonight. And then tonight we sit down and it's still doing the swirl thing on her side. I'm like, I'm like, fuck.
I thought you were going to be like, because she knows it, but I don't think she's consciously thinking that, like, I can still see her. And she just looks like, Jesus fucking Christ, which is a completely normal and acceptable.
I can't hide this. I've actually gotten in trouble at work a few times.
I don't know how. Because I wear my emotions like right here. Like I can't pretend I'm in a good mood if I'm not sad mood otherwise. But but it just either way, and it ended up happening. Thank God, because this was great. I thought this was great.
Yeah, nightcaps are fun.
Nightcaps are fun, so maybe we should do them more often.
Totally.
All right. And also people have been messaging us on our WhatsApp, which you can connect to on the Facebook. And thank you guys for reaching out. Alberto had a lot to say about that red flag with the man thing. Maybe we could talk about that next time. But we're definitely going to be talking about PTSD next time and just verse people on that. And we'll hopefully go into other, just like today, other things. And
it's always a good ride.
It's always a good ride. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Bye, coffee beans.
Later.